This programme is brought to you by vinny.co.uk.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Champions League pool here on Free Sports. Steve Jameson and Simon Webb back with you after a brief hiatus. We took a week off, but we are now prepared for what should be some home run into the final here in the Champions League. Simon, we hype this show up every week. We talk about how good it is. This week might just be the best one yet. Why?
Well, headlines. 6 times world champion, it makes his entrance into the competition, which is really exciting, is to getting to see Michael Hill playing. He's won the world title 6 times, but he is not going to have it all his own way tonight, because the 3 players he's up against are all more than capable of not just winning this group, but it wouldn't be a surprise to see them go all the way through to finals night and even lift the trophy. So there is some serious talent on show tonight. This is the group of death.
Yeah, an absolute shark tank of a group here in the Champions League pool. 4 phenomenal players, and aside from Michael Hill, you know, you've got talent wherever you look. Shane Thompson, Declan, Brennan, Leary. As you mentioned, 3 players who really could win the lot.
Yeah, they've won, all of them have won big events. All of them, their pedigree in the sport is well known. All the players know all about them, and this, you know, all of them could go all the way and lift the trophy. Of course, you know, Michael's going to get all the headlines tonight, but you know, the talent across the 4 is incredible, and it really is the group of death for a reason. Yeah,
and if you've never watched Champions League pool before, you're in for a real treat tonight. All players will play each other over 20-minute matches. We'll have 6 total matches for you this evening. The man who tops the group will advance through into the quarter-final stages with the final 8. The 7 who've already made it are worthy of their place, let me tell you. We have the knockout stages, as it were, next week and the week after, followed by finals night. It's going to be some few weeks here on Free Sports, isn't it, Simon?
Yeah, it's really starting to build up. It's pretty exciting stuff. It felt like it's been building up all the way through, and now we feel like the finals night's really sort of coming towards us. And you know, I have no idea what's going to happen over the next few weeks, but I'm really excited to see how it's all going to unfold.
Yeah, I think you just got a sneak preview of our lineup tonight in the background there, but we'll take a look at that in just a moment. We are really excited for this for very good reason, and we can't really overhype this one, so we won't trouble it with too much. But if it isn't to be Michael Hill, it wouldn't be a surprise, and that in itself is a surprising thing. But what goes against Hill in particular, never played in this event before. 20 seconds a shot is very, very quick, and even for a man of his supreme talent, that does take some getting used to.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen the players that have played in shootout events before and have played with this really severe shot clock before. They've come into the events with an advantage. But whilst we're saying we're waiting to see how Michael's going to deal with the shot clock, we're yet to see what any of the players are going to do, because none of the players playing tonight have ever had to play an event with 20 seconds a shot. So it's going to be, for me, whichever player manages to settle the quickest and get used to this format the quickest, they're going to have a big advantage and a great chance of going through.
Yeah, there's absolutely no gimme matches tonight. Every match has got to have a lot on it. All top players. We can't wait to get going. Let's take a look at the arena. This is what we're looking at live here in Newcastle-under-Lyme at the Players' Lounge. This is the lineup then. All 4 men are locked and loaded and ready to go. There are our odds, and as you can see, Mick Hill is the favourite. Quite a big favourite as well. But I think a few of the other lads might have something to say about that. We'll see in due course, of course. Here's our first match then, and it is a good one. Leary versus Declan Brennan. Declan has been in really good form prior to this whole lockdown scenario, prior to in 2019. A really, really talented player. And it'll be interesting to see how he goes tonight, in particular. To Ulsterman. Go head-to-head in our first match, and we are underway. Oh, where's the black? It's going to be a golden duck!
Oh!
It's a golden duck, would you believe it? Declan Brennan gets the worst possible start. We've never seen it in this tournament. We've never seen it in shootout rules since it was introduced in the middle of last summer. A golden duck for Declan Brennan.
Well, what a start that is. Unbelievable. It's really unfortunate. It hits a really good break, but the cue ball flies in, and that is the first time we've seen that in this competition. We've seen a couple of golden breaks, but the first golden duck. And
there's your confirmation across the screens there, just to rub salt into the wounds for Declan Brennan. Absolutely incredible. Wow, what a start.
Catch your breath stuff, isn't it? I mean, how's this happened?
So for confirmation, it's a unique rule to this competition. If you pot the 8 ball off the break, you win the frame. If you pot the 8 and the cue ball, you lose it. And I cannot stress how unlikely that is. But that is amazing. We've seen the 8 ball move towards the middle pocket enough times in off breaks, but it's very rare not just see the 8 ball going, but the cue ball in the bottom corner pocket is really unlikely. Just amazing.
When you watch that replay, it's very, very unlucky. It really is. I mean, the 8 ball going in is, you know, he's playing the cut break, so it's upping the chances of that happening. But the way the cue ball got kicked into that corner pocket, Declan Brennan can consider himself incredibly unlucky, and he's going to have to forget about that and focus on the rest of this match.
Well, Dylan Leary has had the best possible start. Oh, where's the black? Oh my goodness me! Can you imagine if we'd have seen a golden break straight after? Dylan hits this beautifully. Really cues through it well. 8 ball on the move, and he's looking. That was how close he was. In the end, it's come up dry, and Declan Brennan's at the table, which might be just what he wanted, actually. He would have loved to have got a hand on table as soon as possible, and Dylan did strike that break beautifully. This is a handy-looking split for him.
Just what he wanted, isn't it? It really is. You know, he's got a great temperament out there, and you can kind of pass that one off and forget about it, the golden duck to start the night. If you get the next opportunity, you manage to make the clearance, all of a sudden it's sort of, you start again, don't you? So he has that chance, and it's laid out pretty well for him. He's going to have to be careful. The ball right at the top of the table, okay, it's an easy ball to pop to that top left, but just getting on it in the order he wants to get onto it, he's just going to be careful that the reds don't get in the way. There is a sort of wall of 4 reds to that last yellow, and then onto the 8 ball as well, so it's not an absolutely guaranteed finish, but the one he'll fancy he should get.
That's a lovely shot from Declan Brennan. That little tap underneath from Dylan Leary, rather, just to show his appreciation. Threaded the needle beautifully there. This is the standard that we're dealing with tonight. A crazy start for Declan Brennan to handle, but he is level. It's 1-1, and I can't help but think that justice has been done ever so slightly there. It's an extraordinarily tough game at the best of times, let alone with a golden duck, and the first break of the night to be a golden duck. The odds of that, absolutely astronomical. It took us until week 5 of the competition, which is well over 30 matches, to get a golden break. We've seen a few since. The golden duck is so incredibly unlikely. Never seen one on Free Sports, and we must have seen over the last sort of 8 to 9 months hundreds of matches close to at this point.
When you watch that replay again, you can see the cue ball, he controlled it perfectly into the side cushion, and here we go again, the same break. Look at the cue ball, straight into the middle of that side cushion is what he's looking for, and he gets it right again, and again the cue ball's kicked close towards that bottom corner pocket.
There's another break that's come up dry. Declan Brennan surveys the scene. Dylan with the first chance in this frame, but this is not easy. He's not got an obvious first shot. And to that end, there's, I think, a bit of a shot to nothing there. He wouldn't really leave much in turning the table over.
Of course, Dylan may have a frame on the board, but he's still looking for his first chance, and there'll be a lot that Declan will take from that last frame where he's able to make that reverse dish. That's going to really settle him down and into this match and into this night. Dylan's still looking for that, even though he has a frame on the board.
Of course. Really good point.
Still nothing really to go. He might have a yellow he can take on, but if he takes on yellows, there's a couple of problem balls to worry about.
20-second shot clock really doesn't look like much in a tactical battle near the start of the opening match, does it? Really isn't any time or any room to get your feet under the table in a metaphorical sense. Both these players will fancy themselves if they get an opening shot. The split isn't bad for either colour set, really. I think Brennan might have a shot here. He does. He opens up the red in a fashion. I think he wanted to be on it, and he isn't. So there's going to be another containing shot here. But it's now out in the open, which is part one of his job done, but part two was landing on it, didn't quite manage that. So he turns the table back over. Dylan with yellows now. He's got problems to solve, and he's going to have to do it quickly.
Not easy to hit a yellow and not leave a red on. Has to hit a cushion after contact, so it can't just come off one cushion and rest on that yellow. Well, he has left the red onto the right centre pocket. I think he was hoping to keep the cue ball pretty close to this red. There's enough room here for Declan, and another great opportunity.
Yeah, this one should be the look that he wanted. I think he might have landed a little bit lower on this red than he wanted to. So a handy bit of cue ball work here. Again, looks to thread the needle to the top of the table. He'll be delighted to have got the last frame on the boards and looking smooth in amongst the balls, Declan Brennan, because you get the sense if Dylan had broken dish, for example, in that second frame, having already gone 1-0 up, having done nothing, would have tested the mindset of Declan Brennan a bit.
Yeah, for sure. You kind of would be thinking about the golden break a lot longer, but I guarantee, you know, especially if he mops these up now and he takes a 2-1 lead, the golden break won't be in his mind at all. He'll just be thinking about what's ahead, waiting for that next opportunity, and know that he has a lead.
Well, 2-1 Declan Brennan then. Amazing. We've played just over 5 minutes. We've already seen 3 frames done and tested. It's been hectic stuff. This is Declan Brennan, 27-year-old from Mayor Bridge, and a very, very talented player. He's 2-time Northern Ireland champion, well known on the circuit as a top player, really. That's his sort of reputation, and quite right too.
Yeah, he's got a big reputation, really. He's not been playing pool that long. You can see there the snooker World Amateur Championship semi-final. He was a snooker player for a number of years, trying to make his way in the snooker world, and now has turned to pool. And you know, the other big title that was on that list was part of the Supreme Series, and the Supreme Series was played to these rules. They were called Supreme Rules at the time, now International 8-ball rules. So he's won major titles in this rule set.
That 8-ball troubling the pocket again. Every break so far. Incredible. This is a great break again from Dylan. He had a good one in his first break, it must be said. Just came up dry, didn't quite get the luck. That's a great break. He's got a good split as well, I think. This is where he'll be hoping to get himself on the board.
I think a big moment on not just this match, but the whole night here for Dylan Leary, because if he can take these out, get back to 2-2, he should settle down. A nice break and dish will really do the job. They're so open as well that if he doesn't manage to take these out, he'll probably start thinking about it as well, and then the night could start to get worse and worse. So as easy as these will appear to him, really important he takes these out.
Were you touched surprised to see Dylan as the outsider with the bookmakers coming into this event?
I mean, I've been looking at the odds a little bit over the last 24 hours or so, and I think they're all pretty consistent, having Mick as the favourite and Declan as the second favourite, and then I think Dylan and Shane have been chopping and changing. The difference between the players is, apart from obviously Michael's CV being so incredible, it isn't that huge really. So I'm surprised by the size of the margin if we're going by the bookies' odds, not necessarily the order.
Yeah, 8-1 seems steep.
Yeah.
For a player of his quality. We'll take a look at his profile in a minute. He's just going to sweep up this frame to square us back up 2 apiece. Reminder, a race to 4 or a race to 0 on the clock, whichever one comes first. We're almost certain now to have a race to 4. This is Dylan Leary. He's based in High Wycombe now, originally from over the Irish Sea. They call him Lethal Leary. The 52-year-old has been doing it for a number of years now. All-Ireland champion in 2019, reigning European champion as well currently, as things stand. Big Nottingham Forest fan. And accolades wherever you look.
Yeah, the titles he has on there, they're not small titles, they are big, big titles. You know, he is the current European champion. That hasn't been played since, obviously, for COVID reasons. And, you know, winning the All-Ireland champion is a massive, massive title. And then the Premier League title he won, it again, you know, that is, you don't, just getting in that event is a big achievement, but winning it is special. So, you know, he has won some massive events. And, you know, it's, you know, the only reason he's the outsider of this group is because the group is so stacked with players.
Oh, interesting that Declan's changed his break there. Hit the front ball, front on, from the cut break. He's hit them hard, that much you can say. Really got into them well. He's a little bit unlucky, I think, to come up dry. A lot of balls at the top half of the table. But Dylan at the table, at the table.
Red balls in play.
And a chance for him here on reds. Just to mind his work, particularly at the top of the table. The yellow that's directly between those two reds at the top of the table might be a little bit problematic, just to mind his work.
That's not the best positional shot he's ever played as well. He's just raises his hand because he's landed on this to the corner, but he wasn't trying to cannon that yellow. That's just a sign of how responsive this table is. It really is very reactive out there. Got into it a lot more than he wanted to. Eight ball's not going to be an easy ball to land nicely on as well, so there's plenty of work to do at the back end of this finish. Oh, he's played that beautifully. I wasn't sure he could hold that as well as he did. He's really died that in to be able to hold position, and now he just needs to hit the gap of the yellows. The gap isn't massive, but he's not moving the cue ball very far.
Yeah, it requires some precision.
Not sure that's it. Yeah, the body language tells you he's not on it as well. Didn't want to cannon the yellow in the way he did. He needed to slide by it.
Might not have a shot altogether. Yeah, it's off the cushion first for the one in the middle. Doesn't get it, and he doesn't get a look at the top of the table either. So hands the table over, but it's a little bit messy this for yellows, considering Dylan is 2 reds away from having a shot at the 8. Yeah, you can see the expression in his face. Well, what am I supposed to do with this? He's right to feel a little bit aggrieved. Here is Declan Brennan to not have more to go at.
He's got time, though, to be patient.
He certainly does, yeah.
Yellows are in the dominant position here. Whenever you've got more of your colour set on the table than your opponents, especially, you know, 7-2, you are in a dominant position. You just have to play a couple of good safety shots and find that opportunity.
Oh, well, that may come sooner than expected. Dylan trying to open up that pocket and make it very difficult. It's a good idea. You can see what he's trying to do, but the cue ball going in is the last thing he wanted. Hands the table over, cue ball in hand, and Declan will be away from here. No 2 shots or shot and a visit, first example of that particular rule. We are playing international 8-ball rules. So cue ball in hand, down on the table, and you're away. That's the punishment for a foul.
So they're all in the open now. We talked about it before, how messy these were for yellows, but one safety shot and a little bit unfortunate for Dylan, and they're there for him now for Declan, but the 8-ball is still near the cushion. The 8-ball's not a guaranteed pot. I was about to say it'd be interesting to see if he leaves a yellow at the top of the table for his last ball, because the yellow at the top of the table will make getting onto the 8-ball down the cushion a lot easier. Of course, he could have taken it and played for a double on the 8-ball. It's in quite a nice position for a double. Oh, a little nudge over the pocket. Lovely.
That's a lovely shot, isn't it? Looks really at it tonight, Declan Brennan, from what we've seen. Looks really, really at it.
He does every time I see him play, to be honest. He just I think he just sees the game so well. Big reputation. Not been playing the game that long, but massive reputation, and with some of the titles he's won, you can understand why.
And he returns to the lead. Super stuff from Declan Brennan. And now is in a very good position. He's one frame away from taking the win here in the opening match. And we've got a great match to come as well, as Michael Hill takes on Shane Thompson. That's to come. And the good thing about tonight is whichever match it is, for any one of the six, was guaranteed a great match, at least in terms of names alone. It might not live up to it, of course, but the fantasy pool element of it, where we're thinking, oh, does he beat him? It's really tough to work out tonight ahead of time.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one, we've talked about it all the way through, all 8 groups. There's a big potential for a 6-card shootout to determine the winner of this group. We may yet see that later on.
Yeah, that'll happen if we're tied on points at the end of the night for the top of the table. There's no frames difference or anything like that. We will just take the tied players and put them into a 6-red shootout. And both players are breaking really well, but I'd probably say both of them haven't really had the run of the balls. Dylan's broke dry there, and similar to a couple of Declan's breaks, can consider himself rather a little bit unlucky to have done so. He's left a good split, and it's made for a really open game. We've seen some really attacking pool, but a touch unlucky. A pair of them really off the break.
I think Dylan will be happy to see the way that first shot went. Although Declan's trying to resolve the problem. He just nudged that first red onto the cushion in a really awkward position, and I think he could drop it in from where he is now. Oh, I didn't think he could see this one. This may just be a safety, is it? No, he could see enough to pot it. Well, he's done well. It looked like you could see him scratching his head after the first shot, but the next 2 have been fantastic, and now he is in a perfect position to wrap this match up.
Yeah, recovered the situation really, really well. Not just in this frame, but in this match. Lest we forget how it started with the first ever golden duck in the Champions League pool. Declan potting the white and the 8-ball off the break to lose the frame. Remarkably unlucky.
Not something we see very often, of course, with the golden duck and the golden break being tournament-specific rules. They're not actually part of the international 8-ball rules. They are shootout rules.
Even taking that rule set out, I can't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah,
it's so rare.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I try and have a think whether I have, and I'm not sure. I'm pretty certain that Declan has never had one before.
Well, we'll ask him about it, that's for sure. He's 1 ball away then from taking the first victory of the night here in Group 8 of the Champions League. Declan Brennan wraps things up against Dylan Leary 4-2. And a very, very impressive performance from Declan Brennan. Looks the business out there at the moment. Not much by way of mistakes. Very clean pool. Some excellent performances throughout. Well, first match is in the books, Simon, and I think Declan Brennan has just laid a bit of a marker down, particularly for the other 2 who are yet to play, who will have watched that and just gone, all right, Declan's here to play.
Yeah, well, to be honest, we built this this night up, these 4 players, Group of Death and all that. We've been building this up for weeks and weeks and weeks, and this first match has really lived up to it. We look at that, the stats we've just shown weren't right. There hasn't been a missed pot yet on the night. With the only real mistakes we've seen has been one foul from Dylan, and a sort of almost positional error that led to the foul, and then of course the breaks weren't great, although we said it, that they were breaking well, they just weren't going in. So both players look to be fairly sharp, and it could be an interesting night. Certainly both players are playing well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got plenty more to come. We're going to take a short break now, but when we return, it's the 6-time world champion in action. He takes on Shane Thompson. Don't go anywhere.
This programme is brought to you by Vinny.co.uk.